much to Finlay Young for sponsoring this episode. Finlay just wanted to make sure that good content can continue to be made in difficult times. Thank you so much, Finlay, our sponsor. Sean, if someone wants to sponsor an episode, how can they go about it?
They can contact us via Twitter or Facebook at AWBU Podcast. Because we did an episode last night, Paul, and quite a few times now Ashley's pointed out they sound quite fake, and now I'm paranoid that I think every story is fake, and by reading it out I'm just helping some weirdo that wants their story read out.
To be fair, this one is, I think, is a bit old, but the kitchen lover one I think is fake.
Right, well I think that it's not
but who
fake.
Cares?
And also I think
Right.
that because I told them that there's like people who text in with their pant peeking down stories, and I think that
they're real.
People, but I think there's people on Mumsnet who pretty much do that kind of thing to try and get off on telling a wee dirty story on Mumsnet and getting people all worked up about it. And I feel like that's what this is. But
Controversial, gets the people going.
And now I'm paranoid that that's what I'm doing every time, is helping these people out. So story one is, today there was a mix-up at work with my shifts, and I came home from work only 45 minutes after I'd left. I found my DH of 7 years naked on the bed, surrounded by all the stainless steel kitchen implements that we possess, and rubbing a knife sharpener gently up and down an intimate area. He was very aroused. He even had potpourri candles burning in soft lighting. I knew something was amiss as soon as I came in because it was so quiet and I just had this instinct. But I had been putting the bin out for tomorrow, so came in through the conservatory and he didn't hear. I just opened the bedroom door, we live in a bungalow, and there he was. I know it's not another woman, but what do I do about this? And the soft lighting and stuff, he hasn't made that much effort with me for years. I don't know what to do. Has anyone ever heard of this? A knife sharpener, for goodness sake. I feel sick. Have obviously changed my name for this.
what's the name she changed herself to? Mrs. Potts.
New Schmoo. I know what New Schmoo. What's that got to mean?
I think, right, that we shouldn't kink shame people who want to pump objects.
No.
Because I think that people need to live their best life. They need to be allowed to, like, fuck the Eiffel Tower and then cheat on it with the Blackpool Tower if they so wish. I think that has to be allowed. I think that...
I've heard about this before. The guy's obviously pansexual. It's a thing. It's a thing.
The whole pansexual community who listen to the podcast are like, fuck you. That's not what we are.
By like a knife sharpener, do they mean like one of those like thin, like a long rod thing? Because you see the knife sharpener I've got, right? It's just like a wee plastic thing that's basically got like a stone on it. Like I imagine rubbing that up and down yourself would be pretty.
There's a reason it's called a whetstone, Sean.
I imagine that would be pretty sore though.
I don't think so. Do you want me to go and get my mum and dad's knife sharpener? I don't think that'd be that sore. I think it's quite a smooth grain.
But what if it's one of the plastic ones that you insert a knife into?
Well, he's not doing that, is he? He's not.
You
jamming.
don't know?
He's not. He's not. He's clearly not. This is a high grade. They live in a bungalow. They've got a conservatory. They own a nice knife sharpener. 100%.
Listen, you don't know this guy. This is obviously the first time or one of the first times he's done it because the romance is still there.
This is the first time he's got caught. Bullshit.
If he had been doing this for years, he's not getting candles out. He's in and out, 2 grunts, and you're done.
You don't know what household objects he was like making love to before. He could have been in with the printer and the fax machine, and now he's moved on to the pots and pans or cups and saucers.
I believe that Noosh Mew actually did reply later on and said that the toaster was broken, and the husband admitted that he came in the toaster.
No. No, you're lying, Paul. Did you make that up?
I've got it. I've got it here. I did my research. You asked me on a podcast. I'm going to do my research.
Sean, you should have known about the toaster cum. That's your job.
I know. I didn't even see that.
That's disgusting. That's physical. No, right. Do you know what all I can think of? And I know it's a really weird thing to think of, but he would have been a nightmare in Beauty and the Beast. Just all those wee cups.
It would have been a different film.
Oh God!
Just like, be our guest. And then no, changed our mind. We've changed our mind. We revoke that offer. We don't want you to be your guest. Go away, you beast.
See, but what made me think it was fake was because she does say later on that she's locked herself in the garage, and it happened an hour ago. So she's live messaging about this, and I thought that was weird.
Do bungalows have garages?
Yeah.
You could have like a garage next door.
Have a garage wherever you want.
I've never been in a bungalow before. I don't know.
It's what she also says. How can I compete with a kitchen set?
Yeah, but surely you've seen a bungalow. Hold on a minute. Can I skip past this? Like, you don't understand the concept of a bungalow because you've not been in one.
Kind of don't think
I've
they're
never
real.
been in a car. I don't know how that works.
Well, I don't know how a car works. It's all magic to me. But I don't know how, like... I thought a bungalow had to be like a lonely square.
No. It's just a
one
house.
landing house.
But they can't have a garage.
Have you never seen Neighbours?
Yeah, but that's Australia. That's not real. It was invented by round earthers. I just don't know. I just can't picture it. That's thrown me more than him coming in a toaster. The idea of like a bungalow with a garage is the thing that's made me go, that's sus. I don't believe this now.
This is where the story's falling apart.
For me, it is.
I just wonder if there's great ones where she keeps tweeting about it or she keeps texting on this forum or whatever, and she's talking about, my kids have got to eat out of these plates. We've got to eat out of these dishes, and they don't put that on the dishwasher tablets, the box, washes out dad's jizz.
Oh, that's bad. No, that's bad. That's a horrible, horrible... I didn't
It took a dark turn. If you read this, it took a dark turn.
Like, how dark a turn did
there
this
is more.
take?
For some reason, it wouldn't let me go past the first page, so I just thought
Oh no, it took a bad
lot.
turn. It's something about getting jizz on the Laura Ashley sheets, and then all of a sudden, a cum throw came into things where it was a throw that someone had gifted them from Mexico, and that's where he usually does his business, is in the throw.
Oh God.
It got dark, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, I've been invited to this podcast, and I thought it was just going to be Mumsnet posts about how, the guy wouldn't take this top back because I didn't have the receipt. Is that acceptable? Or when you're in a restaurant, how much do you tip is acceptable for them to take? And then all of a sudden, I've got a guy that's coming in toasters, and he's got a cum throw, and he's rubbing knives all over his penis. What kind of podcast is this? What kind of show are you running?
This is actually very on brand.
Yeah, this is...
I'd like to say, oh, that's weird, but nah.
It's not.
Super, super on brand. Mexican Cum Throw might be the name of my first autobiography. I really like that as a phrase.
It looks like what's right behind you right now.
Shush now.
So she says that he was saying stuff. So he was saying stuff to the contents of your knife drawer. What was he saying? When she walked in, he was saying stuff.
It was in German, apparently. Somebody identified it as German, and apparently it was like, oh yes, I want it now.
No, this is where is this based? Where is this location? This sounds like a Nazi who's run away and is like now living as an American citizen, but is actually like a weird cummy knife fiend. I think there's something suspicious going. If this is real, she needs to leave. She needs to pack up her kids. She needs to get the fuck out of there. Are her kids real, or are they? I thought you said that she had kids and that
they were away for the day, apparently.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
She's like worried about her plates because the kids eat off them.
Oh like dear, this is like the worst episode of Come Dine With Me ever.
Oh, I don't like it. This has made me really worried about touching other people's cutlery.
She says he'd obviously been using the garlic press as it was in his other hand. What the fuck is he doing with garlic press?
So hard to clean.
Oh
They're not
God.
an easy clean. No, I hate this man. I hate that. If this woman is like the You know how people post pictures of they like, oh, can you look at this photograph of like a stone with lots of holes in it and it makes you feel queasy and sick and you can't look at all the little tiny holes in a stone? This human who wrote that is the human equivalent of a stone with too many holes that makes you feel queasy because you don't know what's hiding in the holes. I don't like it. I don't like her and I don't like this. Right, I'm going to move on. Sean, what's the weirdest thing you've ever walked in on your brother doing?
I knew you were going to say that. Showing me his willy, obviously.
Is that the weirdest thing?
Aye. What else was I walking on?
I don't know, maybe he's like doing devil worship or something.
No, that's definitely the weirdest thing I've ever walked in and I'm doing.
Okay. Well, has anybody ever walked in and you doing anything?
We walked in on before when I was having sex, but nothing like. My mum found when I was like, must have been about 13 or something. My stepbrother gave me some adult magazines, and my mum found them under my bed.
What, like Gardener's World?
No, like porn mags, but she went like we come from like a Catholic family and stuff. Like my mum, she got my dad to talk to me, but I thought she was going to get the priest to talk to me.
Well, that would be so uncomfortable, Sean. And was it? You're going a wee bit like cherry, so I know that this is actually a harrowing memory for you.
No, it's not. Do you know what was harrowing? I maybe cut this out. I don't know if she'd obviously asked my stepdad to throw them out or if he'd went in the bin, but I found them under his bed later on, so he'd obviously went and saved those magazines.
Waste not, want not.
That was
do you not hate when you think about when you're young and you think your mum and your dad and adults are just adults, and then you don't realise until you're an adult that, oh no, they do things that you don't want to be thinking about.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
I feel quite queasy right now because my mum's in the kitchen just there and she's making bolognese and there I can smell garlic and it's triggering memories of the garlic press. And all I can think is, oh God, I hope my dad's never wanked in that because that would be awful. I mean, I'm 90% sure he hasn't, but who knows? That 10%, you could get a rainy day. And...
Do you know, she did say that there was things in the dishwasher that they've never used, so she was always a bit suspicious. But what she's missing out here is that he loads of dishwasher. You know, you can't be picky. Like,
I walked in on a party, a girl having bum sex, and we were far too young for that to be a thing. And I was shook, and because I wasn't good at processing feelings, I declared it like the fucking town crier to the whole party. Like, hear ye, there's bum sex in this toilet. And the weird thing was there was a load of masks hanging on the wall of the toilet, like tribal masks, and I don't know how she coped with the shame of them watching her. Like, that's the thing that I always sticks with me, is her face and then the row of masks behind the toilet.
I don't know why you would want to have bum sex in a room where it would just remind you of what your bum's actually for.
Yeah, that's true. Again, that's another thing that's true. I think it was just like, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
I also don't...
What, Sean?
Like, I've never actually tried it, right? But I would imagine it's something that you will kind of want to like prepare for and take your time with. Like, just doing it at a party randomly, like, seems like a bit crazy to me.
No, you have to hoover your room before you try it. Paul.
Yes. Yes.
You've walked in on stuff because you used to work in the cinema and you walked in on like weird stuff afoot.
Oh yeah. We was one time, imagine a hot summer day, the hottest a screen can be. No air conditioning, it's not working. Two people obviously very drunk or inebriated on other substances, both sitting in the middle of the screen. It wasn't even up the back, in the very middle of the screen. And the man has his trousers down to the ankle, pants as well. The lady, she has her skirt hitched up, but she is in his lap. But both of them, probably due to the heat and being a bit drunk, had fallen asleep. So we walked in to clean the screen, make sure nobody's there, whatever. And there's this guy, pants akimbo. She's in his lap, literally head face down in his junk. It must have been stinking because the room was roasting. And when we're like, excuse me, because you still have to be polite, you know, you're still at your work. So how do you address two people you find head first into some guy's junk? Is, excuse me, that's the film's over. Excuse me. They wouldn't wake up, so we had to get security, and of course security don't care. So they walk up, and it's your usual gruff guys going, here, a kick, get the fuck up, get the fuck out.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, that's icky.
Oh, God.
The worst thing that I ever got walked in on doing, and it wasn't like a sex thing, it was a shame thing. If you know how you get the bags of grated cheese?
Yeah.
I was like tipping it up and shaking it in my mouth, and my friend walked in on me.
That's not even enjoyable.
No, I know, but it was like I genuinely, the look on her face looking at me shaking a bag of cheese in my mouth was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And like, I've been walked in doing bad shit, and that's the worst thing, was her face going at me shaking cheese in my mouth. It was so bad.
See, I lived myself for a long time, so I've not been caught doing anything. The things I usually get caught doing are like putting on face masks and stuff. Like, what you doing? And I'm like, I'm moisturising.
Ashley story corner.
Right, I've asked people about what they got walked in on doing in Story Corner. Let me quickly just bring it up. Paul says, on holiday in San Francisco, yes, I'm gay. Staying at a small hotel. I wouldn't have gathered that from on a holiday in San Francisco, Paul. That's something that obviously you know about, that I'm just like, because my family have been on holiday in San Francisco and we're hella hetero. On holiday in San Francisco, yes, I'm gay, staying at a small hotel that had shared bathrooms and showers in the hallway, I opened the door to a seemingly unoccupied shower cubicle to the sight of a lady in her 70s bending over to towel herself off and exposing her bum and the rest to a very shocked-looking me. I ran back to my room with shock, horror, and hysterical laughter. Paul, are you the pants man who texts me? Because that felt very much on the vein of Panty Man. Gilbert says, I walked into a Lidl to find my work chums buying 0% alcohol lager, and I haven't been able to look at them in the face since. Oh, Gil, what a man you are. John Lee says, I walked in on someone doing a poo in an aeroplane toilet once who'd clearly forgotten to lock the door. He looked up and clearly with his mind too much in a fog of panic to come up with anything else, he cheerfully said, hello. What would you do if you were in a toilet in an aeroplane and you were pooing and somebody walked in?
Well, do you know it's...
That's your fault. That's your fault. That's
Sean,
on you.
I feel like this has happened to you, Sean. I feel like you're going to say this has happened to me.
Oh, it wasn't an airplane, it was a train. And you know how you press the button and then like the door like slowly opens and you need to wait till it opens before you can close it again? Mm-hmm. I was in there with my wee boy and he was only like maybe 3 at the time. And we were on like a long journey up to see my mum, so it's like 4.5 hours and I really needed a shite. And I went in the toilet and obviously I had to take him with me. I can't just leave him sitting there. And he unlocked it and pressed the button. And I'm just sitting there and the door like slowly opens. Everybody's just looking at me and I was like, just having to wait so that I could press the button to close it. I'm like, close.
If ever there was a story that made me never want to have children, Sean has just presented it. Like, yeah. What a horrible experience that must have been.
The thing is, it could have got worse because he could have just ran out the door and then what would that have done? Like,
Jesus Christ, no, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. What if you'd run off the train? What if you got into a station and you were like mid loaf drop? Like it's not been pinched. It's too fibrous for a pinch, and you're like, oh, what do I do?
It doesn't matter. You would just have to pull up trow and accept the skids.
That's so stressful.
It'd be falling out as I was running out the door.
Right. This one's a weird one. Vicky says, a colleague pooping at work with the door unlocked. He was a weird chap, and I'm pretty sure this was deliberate and was a kink, as I was not the only one who walked in on him pooping.
Yeah, if it happens quite a few times, then that's...
Norm says, I caught my boss wanking in the office at 10 a.m. He had his headphones in, so he didn't hear me come in.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that. If you are an office wank, you're going to at least have one ear off.
That's actually probably... No, you're right.
I feel like that...
What?
That'd be too carefree.
But maybe he's a boss. He's a boss. He doesn't
He
care.
just doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, I'm going to
doesn't-
put both ears on.
Maybe he really is invested in the plot of pornography. Maybe he watches like the ethical porn where they hire writers and pay them like the screen.
Or was he watching porn as well?
Sounds
Well,
like the guy who would watch Babe Station and not turn the television down.
No, I feel
not
like
a care in the world.
No, hold on, Sean. What do you mean? Like, what would he have headphones in, listening to the Joe Rogan podcast and having a wank? Like, what?
I don't know.
What do you masturbate to, Sean?
I guess, Sean. What are you doing?
I don't know. I just didn't put the two together. The headphones were because of porn. I just like because if he worked in it could have been a call center. It might have been on the phone.
You wouldn't be a boss if you were on the phone in a call centre, Sean. Come on.
That's true, yeah. Listening to calls, maybe.
Sean, that's very weird that you didn't automatically think he was watching porn and you thought he was listening to something else. That's very telling of you as a man. That's
okay.
You wanking on your knife sharpener.
I knew somebody who worked for the NHS and...
Clap for heroes. And...
No, because it's not like the whole clap for heroes thing, because heroes don't get paid.
Oh God, Sean, don't. You're turning into my dad when he watches the wee, the Golden Heart Children things, and the kids who like survive cancer win, and they get heroes. Like, so the ones who die are the heroes. That's...
Anyway, so they worked for the NHS, and obviously they worked night shifts sometimes and stuff. And one of their co-workers would regularly go into a room of his own or whatever and just watch porn on the computers, and nothing was ever done about it.
What if that's just what you like watching?
But on the work computer, and
at work.
Yeah, but what if he wasn't actually doing anything?
I don't care. That's disgusting. I like watching fucking videos of children falling off skateboards. I wouldn't do it in my place of work if it was considered inappropriate. That's right. Who do we think is unreasonable? I think the woman's unreasonable, if I'm being honest, because they're in an adult relationship, and if she can't cope with him at his wanking in a toaster, then she doesn't deserve him when he's paying for a conservatory.
If he was just rubbing his penis with a knife sharpener, then I would say she's the arsehole, but I think he crossed the line, and I would be more raging that he damaged the electrical goods than the method of how he done it. Like, I would probably be equally as angry if he'd just spilled water on it, being careless, as opposed to jizzing inside it. So,
and I don't think jizz is covered in your warranty.
Because what happens if she took that back? Back.
Can you imagine the first time she turned it on, the smell?
Oh, God.
I hope this one's pretend. I really hope that this is fake.
I think
if that's real, it's so nasty.
I think he's been unreasonable because obviously I'm not kink shaming him, but that's their shared kitchen appliances that he's using. Do you know what I mean? He's not told her.
I can't believe we're having an actual, really reasoned discussion about who's being unreasonable with a man who masturbated in a toaster. Well, that's a shared appliance. If it had been his own toaster, then that would... Well, the warranty, I can't believe you're doing this. Yeah, okay.
Listen, when you share a bank account, Ashley, you share everything.
Okay. This is the first time we've had a episode of Mum's Net post reading where it's been two dads and a childless one, so I'm going to defer to you on the shagging of the toaster because he's no better. He was unreasonable. Fine, I take it back. I resign to your wisdom of being
he was unreasonable.
Yeah. Should if it had just been the knives and the sharpener, you're fine. But the fact he moved it to electronic goods that are shared in a common area, that's wrong.
The garlic press, you use that to make your food.
Yeah, but at least you can wash that. At least you can wash these things.
Yeah.
You can't wash a toaster.
Old man Shawnee, he's such an old man. He don't know young words. He gets confused. And here's the phrase today. When Sean gets crunk, he gets crashy. But his plug is Gucci.
Oh, again, the only word I understood was Sean. When Sean gets crunk,
He gets
is that
crashy.
like, so crunk, is that something to do with drunk?
It's something to do with drunk.
Like cranky drunk?
No, you just
Crazy
get
drunk?
you get crunk up in this
Oh,
house.
hold on, but the definition, Sean just got it. What did you say there?
Crazy drunk?
Crazy drunk.
Is
We
it?
have one word,
Yes!
yes. When Sean gets crazy drunk, he gets crashy, but his plug is Gucci.
Okay, so it's crashy like I start breaking things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
It's a bit
Aggro.
Like
no. No, it's more to do with your like crashy is again. It's a two words smushed together.
Crashy. I'll come back to that one. What was the other ones?
His plug is Gucci.
His plug is Gucci. I take it plug is also slang.
No, Sean, I'm talking about your fucking phone charger.
Could
yes,
it be? How would I
your
know?
plug. Paul, any notion of his plug is Gucci?
Is it his aim?
No.
Like plugging someone?
No,
No.
it's not.
Plug. His plug is Gucci. And is Gucci actually Gucci, or is that another?
No, that's a slang word.
You've put in 4 slang words in the one thing.
Gucci is a very common,
Well, that's
very.
Is Gucci like good quality or something?
It's good. So
It's good. His plug
We'll
is
have-
his plug is good. Plug, is that like punching somebody?
no.
No. That
Is
like,
it his sexual drive for his sexual endeavours?
You'd think so, but no.
To plug someone? No.
So again,
No,
it's
it's not
nothing
sexual.
to do with. And if it was sexual, I would tell you none of this is sexual.
Or I just assumed because of the way the show had went so far.
Mm-mm.
is it like chat, like your banter?
No.
No. Can I get a clue?
If you're getting crunk and you're getting crashy, then you'd need a plug.
Need a plug? No. No idea.
Right. So crashy is crazy and trashy.
Right.
Crunk is when you get drunk and high at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like wasted. Gucci is
So you
good.
need his plug something
So-
to do with food?
No. Your
So-
plug. Do you want me to tell you? Are you ready? Sean, last guess. Go. What is a plug? Go.
So the other ones were crazy, high and drunk, and crazy and trashy.
Mm-hmm.
His
Like a
plug
train
is
wreck.
good.
But his plug is Gucci.
Is plug like somebody who's like meant to like look after you when you're drunk? and high?
No, but that would be really cool if that was a word. No.
No.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
It's your drug dealer. So parents, if you hear your children talk about their plug, they are talking about their drug dealer.
It's a plug.
Mhm.
All right, okay. Well, I was close when I thought it was somebody else.
Plug
And I-
not
and I
one of the
managed to
Bash
get-
Street Kids?
I don't
I
think.
thought you were going to say Backstreet Boys.
Oh yes, the sixth Backstreet Boy, AJ, Kev, the blonde one, the
Plug.
other one, and Plug.
The sexiest one.
You were so close, Sean.
I
You
know,
were
and I
so
managed to get some of
close.
them. I'm getting better
You've
at
got-
this.
Yeah, you're getting better, but again, listeners, I know a lot of you have children of a teenage age, and I hope that this helps you.
Am I the asshole for not paying
Yes.
for not paying for the damage my dog caused when he shat in my sister's car? My sister and her children really like my dog, so much so that they always ask me when I'm leaving so they can watch him. I left the city for a few days and they watched him. It was the first time they had him overnight. On the last day, as I was coming home and they were driving to my house to drop him off, he shat in the car and all over my sister. There was diarrhea on the windshield and dashboard and steering wheel, as well as my sister's chest. She shows up to my place. I just arrived home and she was pissed, saying, I'm a serious asshole for not properly potty training the dog and that I need to buy her a new Gucci sweater. She spent like
Sorry. Was it real Gucci or just good Gucci?
She's good. She spent like $1,000 on it and pay for the car cleaning. I asked her if she fed my dog the dog food I gave her, and she said yes. And she was even nice enough to buy him Taco Bell. What the fuck? Turns out she gave my dog a quesarito or some shit, a spicy burrito. No shit, my dog shat all over her car. I told my sister she's a fucking dumbass and I'm not paying for the damage. It's her fault for feeding the dog the Taco Bell burrito. And I later found out they swapped the burritos by mistake and fed her the one that was loaded with hot sauce. My sister's pissed and she's bitching about it to her parents and other family members, saying I ruined her $1,000 Gucci sweater and her car, and I'm a selfish brat who won't pay her back. She posted this on Facebook too, so I responded back to her post, giving the whole story that they fed my dog a Taco Bell burrito, and it's entirely their fault. She deleted the post after people were making fun of her. I am absolutely sure I'm not the asshole, but with a dozen family and friends telling me otherwise, I want a sanity check and the internet's opinion.
Oh, our sister's an arsehole.
Yeah.
100% our sisters. You don't feed dogs burritos. That's a fact of life. And what? No, Paul's got a face on. What?
I just don't think you're considering the third option here, which is that the dog is the arsehole.
Dog can't help it.
It's not a black and white issue, the dog. Somebody once said, what's the old adage? All dogs go to heaven. Don't know who it was, Shakespeare or whatever. But that's bullshit. Dogs can be bastards.
Okay, first of all, it was Burt Reynolds who said all dogs go to heaven. And
close enough.
I don't think that all dogs are good. All dogs have good souls, and if you feed them, what?
They offered to watch that dog, so it wasn't sat in the house and bored. They took it for a trip in the car. They fed it a delicious meal. The dog was an arsehole, didn't even tell them that they'd eaten the wrong order. Somebody else is eating a burrito expecting the hot one. They didn't get it. And they shat all over that woman's $1,000 Gucci jumper. Do you know how many hours breaking rocks or whatever her job was that she would have had to have done to pay for a Gucci jumper? A lot. And that dog just shat everywhere.
I'm going to Google a Gucci sweater and see how much it actually costs.
There'll be different ranges. There's not just one Gucci sweater that costs $1,000. There'll be cheap ones, there'll be dear ones. I've got to take her at her word that it was $1,000, unless the sister was grifting her.
Oh no, there's the first one that came up was $1,050 on the Gucci website.
There you go.
Oh yeah, see.
So $1,000 for a Gucci sweater is actually.
That sounds even more that sounds even more suspicious. Then, what are the chances that her jumper would cost the very first one that's on the Gucci website?
The second one.
Oh.
So it sounds like the sister has either a fake Gucci jumper or a cheap jumper and is trying to grift $1,000 off the first sister.
Did you not say that this was an old story though?
No, this one's current.
Okay, right. This is a current story. I don't know, man. I think that I think the sister, don't feed doggies burritos, but also don't take other people's dugs out if you can't cope with them. Also, what size of this dog that's the amount of shite it does?
Does seem like a lot of shite. And don't wear a Gucci jumper when you're going to be eating Taco Bell in a moving car.
It didn't have to be a lot of shite. It was liquid shite, obviously. It goes a long way. Sean will know from having a kid. Yeah, the liquid ones, regardless of volume, go a long way.
Midway during this conversation, my parents decided to sit down in front of me and eat bowls of spaghetti bolognese, and I have been trying to temper what's coming out my mouth because I don't want to talk about dog shite while they're eating their tea. So now they're leaving the living room like I'm the one who's done something fucking weird and ruined their dinner while I'm trying to record a podcast. Okay, bye.
To be fair, you also spoke about jizz in a toaster, so it ran the whole gambit of bodily fluids.
It did. It's the dog. Gonna take the dog. We're so on topic right now.
The dog's got an opinion on who the arsehole is.
My God, no, like as if to make this completely full circle, the dog is now trying to climb up to eat the spaghetti bolognese that they've left on the table.
Oh, and then see if that dog shat all over your jumper. This would just be deliciously karmic.
I don't know. I'm so lucky Honey doesn't get the shits. Like the worst thing she does is she'll eat my hair. And and then it'll come out her bum like a string of beads with all the all the poos.
Why did you have to call them beads?
Because they're on my hair. It looks like a necklace, and then I have to pull my hair out her bum and pull the poo out her bum.
You said like spheres or something. I think you're intentionally going for that imagery, and I don't like it.
And obviously, that's a dog, right? But my wee girl, when she was only like a few months old, we got like one of the wee, like a book, like wee pop-up books. You know what I mean? Like lift the flap. But she eats anything and everything that gets in her way. And so I'm reading the book, and I'm like, one of the wee doors is missing. And I was like, what happened to that door? And sure enough, like the next day, I'm changing her nappy, and there is like a wee hanging in it. And I'm like, what is that? And it's basically she's ate the flap door, and it's came out. So there's a wee door in her nappy.
It happens. They say they put age ranges on these things, and it still doesn't matter.
There's so many things in our house, right, that my wife's telling me I can't throw out because they've got her teeth marks in them. Like my record player has got her teeth marks in it, and my wife's like, oh, you can't get a new record player now. You're going to need to keep that one forever because that'd be cute. We can go, oh, look, her teeth marks are in the record player.
That's weird, Ashley. That's Ashley to Ashley. That's weird.
I know.
No, somebody told me, who was it? It was Louise, right? Louise, who commissioned us at the BBC for Up For It. And she told me once we were talking, she says, I've still got the television unit that has the teeth mark from when my kids were wee. And I was like, that's weird, but okay. And then once my kid was high enough to get up, right enough, you would just see them just every now and again just hanging off. And it must just be a teething thing. They just eat anything.
You keep that furniture because your baby's bit it?
No.
Right, that's the weird part. It's not the part where the babies bite things.
Well, I'll keep it now because you have to keep it because you don't want to get new stuff.
Right, but you're keeping it for sentimentality, eh, Sean?
I'm not, but my wife's telling me I have to, yeah.
Yeah, so she's keeping it out of like, oh, I have to keep it because that's where the baby bit your record player. That's weird.
Yeah, like, but the mummies keep everything.
So they'll be like, here's your first tooth, and here's your hair, and here's a record player that you try to eat.
That's the other reason I can't have children is I've got all my own shit I need to keep. I can't be keeping somebody else's shit as well. I've not got enough room for that.
You don't have your own shit anymore when you have kids.
No, I don't.
All
like
my shit is in a cupboard somewhere. I can't keep it out.
Like you, I told you, Sean, like the level of petty of keeping things. When I was like 14, my mum gave away all my Polly Pockets to my younger cousin, and I was furious. So I took all the dolls out of every Polly Pocket and put them in a treasure chest, and they sit on my desk to this day. And
Hold
I take
on.
great joy in knowing that cow couldn't play with my Polly Pockets.
You can't slag anyone when you're so sentimental and attached. You keep your baby teeth in your mouth.
That's a triumph, my friend. That's just a point of pride now. Is that I've had a wobbly teeth for 17
it's not
years.
Bad hygiene that makes teeth fall out. They're meant to come out.
It's a baby tooth that I've managed to keep in my head. Even the dentist, he's now kind of on board with it, and he works around it because he's like, how long can we keep this in for?
Yeah, but that's weird. He's just like, fuck this. Let's see how long this happens. I bet he's on the phone to Guinness going, the bout is coming on. What's the record? 25 years? We're nearly there.
I'm excited. Maybe I'll beat the world record. It's actually getting really, really wobbly, and I'm really scared it's going to fall out soon.
And I bet, are you going to keep it if it falls out?
In a drawer.
Yeah.
Well, that's literally the drawer underneath where I keep all the Polly Pocket dolls is all my teeth.
How can you say it's weird to hold on to a record player?
I'm saying it's fine. I'm just saying I don't want to hold on to somebody else's shite. That's my shite.
You said it was weird until we thus proven that you keep your own teeth in a drawer.
What if I go missing and they need to, if my mum and dad have gone and they need something to compare my DNA to?
Your fucking DNA will be all over your room. What are you talking about?
They might need them. You never know. You never know what you'll need your teeth for one day. What if I want to make jewellery?
You just need to pull some of that arse out your dog's hair. Or your hair out your dog's ass. Well, there you go.
It might not have a follicle bulb, Paul.
Listen,
so
if someone went missing and I was a police officer and I found a bunch of teeth in a drawer in the room, I wouldn't be like, oh good, we've got DNA. I'd be like, who have they fucking killed?
If you went missing and I found your teeth in a drawer, I'd say perhaps we leave them missing. We don't look too hard.
Yous are so weird that it's like, oh yeah, let's keep the furniture that our baby is bit, but don't keep the thing that can help the police identify your body after your head, legs, and arms have been chopped off by the mob.
Any bit furniture or teeth.
It's obscene. Yous are wrong. You're keeping everything. You're a bastard.
Oh, here's my drawer with the first painting that my child did. Oh, look, isn't that nice? Oh, and here's Ashley's drawer with her teeth.
That's going to be some Netflix special when they're like, the killer did everything right. He got rid of all traces. If it wasn't for the fact that she kept her baby teeth in her drawer, we would never have caught him.
And I will have won. I might have been murdered, but I will have won. And
Would you ever make a necklace out of your own baby teeth?
I think about it, like I look at them and I think that would be a conversation starter on like speed dating.
An anklet maybe, just to be different.
I don't know, maybe like a tiara.
Yeah, it could be.
There are many times you've accused me of saying something weird on this podcast and you've just said you think about making a necklace out of your teeth.
Sean, I lean into my weirdness. You won't accept your weirdness and I'm just trying to help you be a better person.
Yeah, Sean, if you're weird every day, then you're expected to be weird. If you're normal, then even the slightest bit of weird is accentuated by that much.
Fair enough.
If I walked up to someone and like shook their hand and was cordial and gave them a hug, she would freak out because she'd be like, that was so fucking weird what you did. Even though that's a normal human interaction, but because it's me that's doing it, it's like, that was weird there.
Each chip's weird. He's 3 chips at a time. It's the strangest.
One time, I had 3 chips and I ate 3 chips like that, and then I ate the rest of them. I bit them in half. I was just picking up a handful of chips because I was grafting, because I was working.
So weird. Such a weird thing to do. 3 chips in like a little triangle, and then he went, it's like horrifying me.
Yeah, it's the only thing you could pull me up for.
It'd be weird if you only ate chips in groups of 3s.
He does only eat them in groups of 3. He claims he only did it once, but that whole McDonald's meal, me and Christopher MacArthur Boyd stared at him and he ate them in little bundles of 3.
Other people pick up a bunch of chips and bite them. It's not a weird thing. It's not a solitary thing. Like, I'm going to kill 3 people and then they'll do a Ted Bundy style documentary about it and go, hey, it was dead weird. They ate 3 chips. He sometimes picked up a pile of chips and ate them. That's not going to happen because everybody would just go, there's fucking loads of people do that. What are you talking about?
See, just on the subject of Ted Bundy, because I'm not really interested in this Doug that shit. See how the woman who he worked with, who writes all the books, like sitting next to danger and stuff,
right?
Who he didn't murder, and then he was like, when people asked him why didn't you murder her, and he's like, because she was ugly. Do you not think that she lives with like a weird? On one hand, she gets to write all her books about how Ted Bundy sat beside her at work, but on the other hand, she needs to know that he thought she was a fucking munter, which is why she never got her head chopped off.
It's like, you can't imagine that, the greatest victory, and it's still robbed from you.
I feel like that's how my end game is going to be somehow. I feel like I'm going to be like married to a serial killer.
There'll be some sexual disease. It's like the new virus that wipes everyone out, but it's like, hey, I'm a virgin.
Just actually left by herself. Like, oh no.
Not much has changed.
Right. The dog shite. I think the sister's a dick who fed the dog a burrito. Paul thinks the dog's a dick. Sean, who do you think is the arsehole?
I think the sister's a dick for feeding the dog burrito.
I'm
wearing a Gucci sweater while doing it. She just sounds like an arsehole. If that was my sister, I swear to God, I'd fucking disown her. Okay, so this week's acronym is L&D.
L and D?
Yeah, like a wee ampersand. L and D.
Lips and dick.
Oh.
Who would ever think that crosses off the notes that he made? I think it's length and depth, and what it is it's the new ASL. Except you're not allowed to ask anybody's age or their sex or their location in case you dox them. So you've just got to ask approximate dimensions to kind of form a picture of people you're talking to on the internet.
That is not it, but that is great, but it's not it.
Look and dream.
No.
Lift and demand.
On Mumsnet?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're like trying to empower each other.
No.
What about light and dark? And some of the Mumsnet posts are actually like this theological battle about good versus evil.
Like the Force?
Yeah.
No.
Is that what it is, Sean?
It's not it.
Is it life and death?
No.
Oh, okay, that was the one that I thought it genuinely was, and I was like, oh no.
It's more to do with giving birth.
Are you sure it's not lips and dick?
Is it something and dilated?
Labia and ducat.
No, it's not dilated or labia and ducat.
The baby comes out the ducat via the labia. Liquid
Something
and
in
discharge.
delivery.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait.
Delivery or discharge, which one?
Delivery is the second word.
Okay. Labour and delivery.
Yes.
Yes, well done.
Well done.
Sweet nugs. Sean,
Yes.
do you have anything you would like to plug?
Just my usual. If you want to go on my YouTube for Sean Wilkie or BBC Short Stuff, BBC The Social, and watch my videos, get me some more views, please.
Guys, you can listen to me and Silent Paul every Friday night on BBC Radio Scotland from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. That's Silent Paul, they're right there. Paul Bridges. Do we call you Paul Bridges and when we introduce you on the podcast, Paul? Or do we call you Silent Paul?
You just always call me Silent Paul.
But Sean does the introduction afterwards.
Yeah, I recorded it on.
All right, well, just call me whatever you like. Probably people know me as Silent Paul, so just call me that.
Call him Paul Bridges, aka Silent Paul. You can listen to us on BBC Radio Scotland every Friday night from 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. or you can listen again on the BBC Sounds app or website.
Or you can also watch Up For It Season 2 still on BBC iPlayer.
Which Paul was the director and cat wrangler on.
I love how you always promote your own stuff, and then you've got somebody else on to promote your own stuff as well.
I know.
Yeah, that's the only reason she asked. She just went, I want to point two of my things.
I did basically. You know, I'm always thinking about how can I do Ashley right, and that was the best way. It means that
whilst twiddling your wobbly tooth like this.
Do you think it's down there? It's not. It's up there.
That's a weird place for a baby tooth.
Yeah, shut up. It's going to fall out. It's going to fall out, right? And see all the wrinkles that haven't appeared on my face yet. They're going to like spring up on my face like Dorian Gray.
Do you think we could do teeth as a topic on the radio show?
Yeah, probably. But I think it's a bit gross.
I pitched a programme about teeth to Channel 5 once, and the woman just went, I'll stop you there, love. Teeth don't right. And you know what? I thought it was the best rejection I'd ever had in my life. Teeth don't right, love. And I went, thanks a lot. Bye.
I'm going to go and get ready to do my Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.